talk a little bit more about Legacy Plus and why it's so important. And then you're like, that reminds me, I've actually got a video that we did at a lesson a week or so ago.
At a coaching session just a few days ago on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And we have that video.
I know, that's what he's talking about. He's wanting Stan to cue it up to intro the video.
Yeah, so pretty much, think of this like late night talk show where they're sitting and they're talking, they're like, oh, I did this, we're on a show. We have a video of that, right? We have a video of that. And then they pull up.
So I look to you and say, we have a video of that, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll say, let's run it, yeah.
Yeah,
And you'll say,
exactly.
yeah, I think so. So then that's his cue.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you're talking about, in the open, I do an intro of speaking about Legacy Plus, and then, okay, so I'll, at that point, the intro, I will introduce each one of the guys, and then when we get to Stan will, I'll intro him, and Stan will pick it up from there. I'll lead you in, and I'll just say, welcome, Stan, I don't know exactly what I'll say, but you will pitch to the video. You'll say something about, I recently did a video that really, it explains it so simply, and I'll say, well, I think we've got it, let's take a walk. Let's take a walk.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's good.
And that video is 28 minutes long, so we're not going to make you guys sit through the 28 minutes today.
Later on today, though, can we see it?
We can absolutely see it.
And you're going to squish it down to 20? Is that right?
We're at the, we'd actually like you to take a look at it and see if there's anything else we can take out of it, because it is on the long side.
Yeah.
But they're going to play Stan's video, and then we're going to come back out of it, and Caroline will be like, what a fantastic video, it explains so much. Tell me about, then the questions, tell me, what does someone need to know about Legacy Plus to do this? What does, any of the list of questions there that can.
Hey, really quick question.
Okay, here's the thing I'm kind of concerned about. It is a long intro. I don't have, will we have teleprompter tomorrow for this? Okay. Okay, let's just try.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
So
I
could
understand.
you have a teleprompter, like create a slide with?
I mean, we could
I mean, you're cool.
potentially, if you've got a script or something that you want, we can have it made and displayed on a stage.
Okay, so if I did that tonight, you could load it tomorrow.
We could probably do
We'll
something.
talk about formatting later, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I just needed to know how much on camera I'm gonna be doing. And this sounds fine, we'll just go over it. I'm gonna try to shorten these just a minute. I hope you guys don't mind.
No.
I think it'll be easier on you and me too.
It's easier to edit than create. Of course, do we have any idea how many people have signed up for this?
Here's Gary.
Oh, that reminds me, excuse me, Stan. You mentioned a couple of times that we will be answering their questions. So in the streaming tomorrow, you will have live questions? Or?
Yeah, and let me actually show you. So we've got an aggregate system that they can ask on Zoom or YouTube.
Okay.
And when a question comes up, we can actually send it to you. So you can actually, that's a question that someone wrote, like we have an example on YouTube, and so you can actually read that question right there
Okay, good.
and
So-
respond to them.
Wow.
Is somebody gonna edit these questions? I mean,
We're gonna select them. Not every question is going to come up.
Yeah, from a compliance standpoint, you sure got to be careful what
oh,
you.
this is, yeah. Unscripted questions are scary.
Mike had said Jerry was coming in and was selecting the questions.
Who's the actuary of Pacific Life, and what is his attitude about this? You know, I mean,
So,
Next. Next question.
I don't think anybody would submit a question, in a presentation like this, knowing there's gonna be a lot of people submitting questions, would expect their question to be asked, right?
Yeah.
Which means I kinda thought we would, like, design the questions and have them submitted by us.
Like a plan?
No, a plan.
Yeah.
How long is this going to go on? Because I thought you said there wouldn't be any live questions, and you were going to use these questions, and
Mike made an executive decision.
he wanted some
You
questions.
wanted what? You
Mike,
wanted-
Mike made an executive decision that he wanted some questions.
I would think
Yeah,
if
there's
Jerry's
questions.
picking those questions, I can't imagine them not being questions that we probably wouldn't have
I
answered
can't
many,
either.
many times.
That's
Can't
fine.
either.
That's fine.
I mean, it doesn't make me real, nervous.
I'm
that
just
there
going
would
to
be-
pass it to you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard for
I
me
pass.
to. It's not, I mean, how hard is it to say, what do you think about
pass.
that, Dan?
I pass on that one.
But I don't think Jerry would give us anything that he didn't know we didn't have a pretty
Yeah,
blanket answer
all
on.
the questions, so I'll give you how that works. All the questions come up right here, and he can actually select the one
Bobby, you're going to be here too, aren't
that
you?
wants to come up.
No, but you'll be here tomorrow that you might be able to be with Jerry.
So,
One time I thought I was doing that, but I'd like to change it, but I'm happy.
Well, probably you
I'm
may
just
be
saying having a
be
couple pair
doing
of
it.
eyes looking and saying
you
this,
have
that's
to
a,
come up.
I'm happy to help.
You'll know what not to get through the.
Can I communicate back to people? Don't ask dumb questions.
So I have learned, watching TV lately, that whenever you get a really tough question, the first thing you say is, "That is a great question."
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Stall. And then don't answer it.
yeah. And go back to your theme line, whatever's in
Right.
front of you on the desk. That's
Exactly.
what the politicians do, isn't it?
Mhm.
Stay with your story,
Right.
regardless what the question was.
A great question.
I would think if, Jerry and I,
So
if
we are
Bobby
going
was able to look
shoot
at it too, I think
as
it'd be
if it's
great.
live.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Which, that's actually including right now, at 1:45, we actually went live on YouTube. So we're going to a test channel, no one's actually watching it, but the process is well.
Well, yeah, see, you
That's
have to
actually
do that when you do
happening
these
right now.
live ones anyway. But it's gonna be in
At
person.
1:55, in about a minute, you will see that start playing. That's about 5 minutes of pre-roll that we're gonna present to the audience, and it will come out to you. So you guys are actually technically on right now. You're all muted, obviously.
Okay, so how long before we go on the air? I mean, how long before we start shooting?
5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be live. You'll be on camera.
This thing?
Sir. You showing on mute? All right. Do one more mic test for me, Stan.
Okay, so testing 1, 2, 3. Testing again, 4, 5, 6. Is that working, Zach? Okay.
When you start anything, you do what everyone else is doing. You follow the path of those who've been successful before you. We did that, and it worked. For a while. We realized we can make our clients money, but there's gotta be more than that. What if it wasn't just about making the numbers look good, but we could really enjoy the people we served? That's what we wanted to build. The Cornerstone Financial Network was born. We weren't going to be just about the numbers. They were important, but they weren't everything. We were going to be the people our clients wanted to do business with. We were going to get results, help them realize their dreams, and enjoy the process along the way. We discovered we weren't just like everyone else, and if that meant we wouldn't be for everyone, we would accept that. We valued people over process, but we knew we'd win in the end if we held true to the Cornerstone promise. We would serve our clients in a way that prioritized their goals, and we'd lead them forward to the futures they always envisioned. Join us at Cornerstone, where our promise is to lead you forward. We are committed to the success of female financial advisors. There aren't enough female advisors, and they often make less than their male counterparts. We find it interesting that this is all while research reflects that women use financial advisors more than men and prefer to work with women more than men. We believe the industry needs to change. At Cornerstone, we intend to lead that change. We're offering an opportunity for women to experience unprecedented support, training, earning potential, flexibility, and a community of women just like you. Women who want to be successful in business and in relationships. And through the Together Financial Collective Initiative, Cornerstone also contributes a portion of all female advisor proceeds to charities, making a difference in the lives of women worldwide. Consider a career at Cornerstone, where we believe in becoming the change we hope to see.
How has your relationship and your partnership at Cornerstone benefited your practice?
We've seen our revenue literally quadruple in the last 3 or 4 years. And we were doing well before we started doing that, but this has added a whole new dimension that I never thought possible. And I've been in this, like I said, for four decades.
Legacy Plus is a strategy that takes two ideas that each are, I think, quite powerful in their own right, infuses them together in a way that makes them 10 times more powerful than either one would be standing alone.
You know, I've always felt like I was pretty knowledgeable. I've been a student on investing. I felt like I was pretty rounded on what I understood on how to invest, and I had somebody lay a piece of paper in front of me. And I'm looking at this piece of paper and the numbers that they're saying we're doing. I'm just like, no way. I don't believe it. It's too good to be true. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. It's too good to be true. So I jumped in and started studying it. I started reading up on it, going through everything I possibly can. Came back and it's just like, okay, this is an amazing estate planning tool that people don't know about. And so I get excited talking about it just because I think it's something most people, I've yet to find somebody that's ever heard of it before. That's what's amazing to me. It's a great, great strategy.
You partnered with Cornerstone. I'd like to know what were the benefits of partnering with them?
The key word you said is partner. I think that is such an important word because a partner is somebody that's for you. And I tell you what, to have them in my corner, you always have questions that come up that maybe you don't quite understand. They will help you. If they don't know the answer, they'll help you get the right one. And I really consider them an expert. They get it. It needs to be done specifically for that client because every one of them are different. You have to really figure out what's best for them. And sometimes having somebody else to take it to and pass it through them and say, here's what I was thinking, and getting their feedback, that is partner. That's a partner. And that is what's incredible with the relationship that I've had with Cornerstone. They have been nothing but a blessing to be able to go to and work with.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Long, and I am fortunate to be your moderator for the next few minutes. And we want to welcome you today to this panel of experts, and I know that you're going to enjoy this time that we have together and also maybe learn a few things that's going to help your clients and help you in your business. I wanted to tell you that on behalf of Cornerstone Financial Network and Pinnacle Legacy Law, we're coming to you today. Today we'll be covering Cornerstone's approach to the strategy of using a combination of technologies and strategies that combine to make something very important we'll be talking about today. It's called Legacy Plus. You'll want to know about it. Since we have limited time, today's presentation will serve as a high-level overview, really, of the approach. And at the upcoming in-person Legacy Plus workshops, we'll be able to go into greater detail of how to incorporate Legacy Plus into your strategies and into your practice. So I'd like to go ahead and get started and introduce you to some of our experts right now. We've got Gary Harris. Welcome, Gary. It's good to see you again here today. He is an investment advisor representative at Cornerstone Financial Network with a 30-year success rate at Walmart and Dayspring. He owns Harris Insurance and Financial Services with his daughter and son, and it's an Arkansas-based company specializing in advanced life strategies, estate planning, charitable gifting, group and individual health insurance, and annuities. So glad to have you here today. And we also have Dan Cunningham. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Good to see you. With over 4 decades of experience serving families, individuals, and businesses, Dan is driven by a passion for helping others create their best possible futures. He enjoys solving problems and building meaningful connections, and has a boatload of experience to boot. So next we have Stan Miller. Hi, Stan. Good to have you.
Hey, Carol.
The passionate CEO of Pinnacle Legacy Law at Little Rock, Arkansas-based law firm. Stan believes in the power of estate planning and its positive impact on Arkansas families. Stan, you are a sought-after speaker, I understand, on estate planning, tax reform, and family legacies. And so you have all sorts of skills that you bring to this panel today. So I do want to get started first with you, Stan. You have lots to tell us today. I want to know a little bit about this video that you created to make things so simple. Was that your purpose?
It was. Legacy Plus, I think, is not a complicated strategy, and so I did a coaching session the other day behind the light board where I explained the components of how it works. And I'm thinking maybe we have...
We do have it. I watched it. It makes it very simple, very easy to understand. So let's go ahead and take that video now.
All right, so we're going to spend some time today talking about the strategy that we call Legacy Plus. I'm really excited about this strategy because it's actually a fusion of 2 strategies. And each one of those strategies all by itself is really powerful, but when you take these 2 strategies and put them together, fuse them together, it becomes exponentially more powerful. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want to answer right away 2 questions. One is, what is Legacy Plus? And the second question, who's it for? So first off, what is it? What is Legacy Plus? It's a unique planning approach. It's a strategy that has low risk but measurable risk, and all of the components of it, every component of it, is a time-tested strategy. This is not some new contraption, new invention. It's time-tested. So who's it for? It's for high net worth individuals. It works really well for business owners. It works for highly compensated executives and professionals, and it works really well for farmland owners. Those are 4, it works for others too, but those are 4 audiences that we know this is really appropriate for. So I said this strategy is really powerful, and I believe it is. It's exponentially more powerful than either of its components, but why is it so powerful? And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why it is really powerful. One is it has a minimum impact on the client's cash flow. Minimum impact on the client's cash flow, and that's huge. It carries with it, secondly, it carries with it the potential for high stock market gains with zero downside market risk. And number 3, it has powerful tax advantages that a mere investment account would not have. So let's talk about each of those 3 components of Legacy Plus. Number 1, it uses leveraged capital. That's why it has minimum impact on our clients' cash flow. So we're using leveraged capital. It incorporates a specially designed life insurance product that's specifically designed to be very tax efficient, and thirdly, it's all inside a structure that is a unique and specially crafted trust structure designed specifically for the Legacy Plus strategy. So Legacy Plus is an approach that utilizes a loan from an independent third-party lender like a bank, for example, to fund some or all of the premiums on the life insurance, right? Number two, no ERISA limits on the amount that can be invested. So one of the scenarios that is really compelling here is that this strategy can be used as an alternative to a 401k plan. Now, that money is going to be invested, and because it's invested, the policy is going to participate in market gains. Is I think really interesting. This is a compelling, a key component of the Legacy Plus strategy. The investment account is structured in such a way that it avoids any market loss. So we have what's called a zero floor. Also, in the Legacy Plus strategy, the investment account benefits from the fact that it's in a tax-free container. So we don't pay income tax on investment earnings. We don't pay income tax on capital gains. And it's structured so that benefit actually continues on for multiple generations. We're not just avoiding the estate tax whenever our client dies, we're actually avoiding the estate tax for multiple generations. Depending on what state we create the trust in, it can be up to 300 years or 365 years. In some places like South Dakota, there's no, it's outside the taxable estate forever. This is, these components are not new. Everything I'm talking about has been around for a long time. And what's unique about it is putting all these pieces together into this structure, and that's what creates this Legacy Plus strategy. Because the way we've designed it, using this specially designed trust, not only does the cash value enjoy the asset protection features that we want, but also the money that we borrow out of the policy enjoys the same benefit. By using hedging strategies, the policy value goes up, we get the up. If the policy value, if the market goes down, we may have years where we don't get anything credited to the policy. So let's take a look at how a life insurance policy 2001, and that money had been in that policy all the way through to 2021 for a 20-year period. And I think if you can see the chart here, you can see, maybe you'll understand better how this power of the zero floor works. And in the example that we're showing here in the slide, the cap rate is 9.5%. So what you see there is, you see two lines. You see a blue line that shows what the S&P did in each of those years. And then you see that gold line that shows policy performance with the impact of the zero floor. One of the things we know is that from 2001 to 2011 was, if not the worst, you're then able to participate in the compensation of the policy by distributions from the LLC, because another member of the LLC is licensed, it has an insurance license in that jurisdiction. But again, I just want to emphasize that the opportunity in this Legacy Plus strategy is for you, with just a very small number of transactions, to double or triple your income in a given year.
Thank you, Stan. That
So
was
we're gonna
so
spend some time today talking
informative,
about
and
the
I like the way you made it so succinct and easy to understand. What do you think is the benefit of Legacy Plus on your practice, and you particular?
Carolyn, honestly, it's opened up a whole new world of opportunity in my work with high net worth clients, because now, in ways I was never able to before, I'm able to actually present understandable, low-risk solutions that really accomplish the outcomes they want.
Well, that's basically what all you guys are wanting to do, isn't it? Dan,
sure.
I wanted to ask you something specifically, and that how has Legacy Plus impacted the attorneys that you have worked with specifically?
Well, it's a good question. You know, I've been blessed to work with some great attorneys through the years, and I always ask them, you know, how could we interact with them in a way that makes their work easier and vice versa. So we see them as teaming partners. So I think it has created an opportunity for the attorneys we work with, first of all, to learn how we do fact-finding and learn what the client is trying to accomplish, and then to begin to put the framework around it in a way that the client understands. So we really work hard to do good quality fact-finding, and most of our clients say the same thing. They say, I want to leave a legacy for my family. I'm worried about taxation. I'm worried about potential lawsuits. And those are the same thing the attorneys are worried about for their clients.
Exactly.
And they're worried about health care and those types of things. And so our job really is to do risk management for our folks. And so we're just an arm of the law firm. Our job is to work closely with the attorney, be respectful, and help our clients get ahead financially and achieve their goals. And so I have learned that if we do a good job of that, the attorneys respect us, they work with us, and they're comfortable that we're, you know, we're being open with their clients and our clients. So I would say communication has been a big part of all this. And would you agree with that, Gary?
Absolutely.
How do you communicate with attorneys that this makes such an incredible solution for their clients? How are they in the loop about this? Do they learn it from your end, or from the clients?
They're in the integral part of all of it. And so essentially we work in tandem, and some we work very closely in different capacities. But you know, our job really is, and I think their responsibility too, with the client's permission, is to keep us involved. Certainly there's some private things that we step away so they can have private discussion with the client, and we feel important that they do that, and we'll conduct our meetings in such a way that we work closely to identify the problems that we solve, and then we'll step away and let them finish maybe other personal items that need to be done, because it's the attorney has a big job of handling everything in their life, and people have pretty complex financial circumstances.
Sure.
Especially people that are very successful.
Yeah.
In their business. So is that helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Gary, I wanted you to come in and tell us how Legacy Plus has impacted the professionals that you are working with, and what suggestions would you give professionals that are wanting to get into this marketplace right now?
You know, Carolyn, I'd have to go back to when I first was introduced personally to Legacy Plus, and I was actually introduced it as a client. Somebody was talking to me about it, and to be honest with you, they laid a piece of paper in front of me called an illustration, and I'm looking at these numbers, and I literally walked away and thought, well, it's probably plus for somebody, but I doubt it's me. And so I went back and I started studying it. And so my first step is, I would tell you, is educate yourself. I mean, try to understand what you're really looking at, because I learned, and what's amazing to me about Legacy Plus is I continue to learn. It's not a short-term learning thing. I've been working with it on years, and there's new concepts and new philosophies. I think that's what's so fantastic about it, is there's this flexibility that it works for every one of the clients Stan's talking about has a different goal in mind. They're not all the same. And that's what's so awesome about it, is that you figure out a way to work in their road. You want to be on their roadmap. You want to follow the path that they're trying to accomplish. And I think just educating yourself and understanding it's flexible for whoever you're speaking with, regardless of how they might have wealth, comes in different ways sometimes. And I think even Stan would tell you, Stan's knowledge came from educating himself. You know, what he understood about Legacy Plus has come with time that he has spent looking into it, and again, trying to figure out the best way to work with his clients. And but it does start with educating. Learn it, and learn that it is flexible, and that you have to get to where your client wants to go.
Speaking of long-term, this is a long-term strategy, isn't it? This is something, as I was learning about the strategy, it amazes me that this is not just about me. If I were involved in Legacy Plus, which I'm not, but I'd love to be. But the thing that it is so amazing to me, it's not just about me or my spouse or my children, but my children's children's children. Would you mind elaborating on that?
Well, I think Stan hit on the video the piece about, I get a little concerned about when I think about my kids' because
Sure
I don't
you
know
do.
what they're going to turn out like.
That's
And
right.
Stan brings a great point that you still get to hold the keys to the car. Somebody's watching that, and you have the control of how money's handled, and that is a huge deal for somebody that is concerned of what wealth can do to a child or a grown adult. It doesn't have to be a child. I think Legacy Plus, again, that flexibility that they control is still there, and I think that is important to a lot of the clients. I have yet to find a client that's not important to.
Yeah. I noticed that you were nodding your head in agreement.
I am, because, you know, every client we talk to wants to save taxes, create financial security for their family, but when you start drilling into their mindset, virtually every successful client I've ever worked with understands that, you know, there's also a dark side to wealth, and you have to be careful about what you do with it and how you pass it on, because there is every potential to do destructive things with it. And so what Legacy Plus does is it creates that financial security, but it also puts that financial security in a wrapper that our client gets to design and ultimately control, so that we can avoid the damaging implications and possibilities of wealth. And for most of our clients, interestingly enough, that's even more important than leaving the money.
Yeah. I think so too. I think we all do as parents and grandparents, and so I love that part about Legacy Plus. What do you think are what's the typical process, Dan, for somebody if I approached you and I said I'm interested and I met the qualifications, what does can you simplify that for us?
I can. Let me back up just a little bit,
Okay,
if I
sure.
may, that what we have done with several clients, and I'll actually put in a compliment to Stan, and we've had the client read Stan's book before we even met them, because he really talks about examples of families and what they've tried to accomplish and what some of the pitfalls are. And then we begin to get into granular, you know, okay, so how do we do this? Well, from a producer standpoint, you kind of want to know, well, how do I interact with the underwriting team? How do I interact with the financial team if I'm using bank lending, for example? How do I do that? Well, essentially, it's the way you do good quality fact finding. I mean, you have to have the basic things, such as, you know, multiple years of tax returns and good fact finding, and that just requires, in some cases, working with the client or working with their advisors to pull all that together. And many of them appreciate that we do that, because they really they're not as organized as they would like to be.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of your high net worth business owners and clients, things are kind of messy. And so we really can be helpful. And so there's an educational process that's not just underwriting and financial underwriting, and, you know, certainly we have to do all that. We have a team of people at Cornerstone that we're really good at that and can get granular with you, so that you know what to do and when to do it and what not to do. That may be the most important, what not to do, because this is a different type of transaction. It's a little more complex than maybe an advisor has ever dealt with. But I would say it's an educational process, and so many times things like Stan's book and other books like his that help a family think about things like, what do I do with the second and third generation? How do I get dad to talk about this stuff? How do I get granddad to turn loose of some of the things? And so we play an important role in family's future, and hopefully for many generations. So Stan, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, Dan, you're exactly right. Doing this properly requires listening intensely first, because if we don't know where our client's heart is, what their real objectives are, what really matters to them, then whatever product solution we put in front of them is just a commodity. But we can't do that. And by the way, one of the things I really appreciate about working with you guys at Cornerstone is you don't see this as a once and done deal. And Legacy Plus is not, by the way, a once and done deal. It's a long-term relationship that the client has with the advisor, and it requires that kind of ongoing engagement. And what I love about you guys is that you're really, I think, authentically committed to that.
I think, Stan, to piggyback on what you're saying, I think sometimes we think we sign this, contracts and we're done, and he's right, it's not. Because as a client may believe they have a path that they're going to be at 10 years from now, but the reality is it never looks the same as what they thought. And that's why it's so important you go back and revisit and say, what are you trying to accomplish today? Are you set up properly, utilizing the legacy program to make sure you're getting there? And so it is an ongoing relationship. It is not a let's finish it and be done. You have to stay in contact because things change, that client changes.
Well, you mentioned something that Gary said about 5 years ago when he was studying this strategy, and it got my attention, and he talked about flexibility. And he was the hat of a successful businessman at that point. He wasn't a practitioner. And he said, it's all about flexibility. And talk about that a little bit.
Well, when you look at it, I looked at it truly as part of a portfolio. When I looked at my estate, you look at where you're playing at, and as I looked at Legacy Plus, I looked at it and said, this complements what I'm doing. It has a role within the overall picture that is done differently than what I'm doing in other places. And I really thought that it made sense enough. I'm like, why would I not do this? It made no sense not to do it. But I will tell you that the part with Cornerstone is a huge piece of it, because I have met lawyers that will tell you, well, I had this insurance guy that was part of this deal. I mean, it kind of blew up, and I wasn't sure what was going on. Well, okay, we understand that, because it is so critical that the legal piece is right. An agent is working for the client to get him in the right product, because it is critical that it is set up properly. So if that's the support you need, that's where Cornerstone brings in, and it has a watchdog within itself to make sure things are done right, not just doing, signing an insurance product. It's making sure it fits the client for the right reason, and I think that is so critical. And that's that is the number one reason I signed up with Cornerstone, was because of that.
Let's say at this point we start to have some viewer questions come in. We can also
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Let's say at this point we start to have some viewer questions come in.
Okay.
And we can also use this for today's purposes to practice the outro going out. So
Okay.
if a question comes in,
Okay.
direct your attention to.
Gentlemen, we have a question from our audience, and we want to thank you in advance for that. Where can I go to learn more about Legacy Plus?
Well, I would start by calling Mr. Newman, who is our director of such and such, and give him his phone number, or whoever we're going to.
So let me ask.
The first thing will be there's a contact right on. One of the things that you had as part of signing up is you had a contact in it, and if you contact Cornerstone, we would have somebody get back with you immediately to discuss how we can support you.
That's a good answer, but do we have dates set for the?
Yeah, the
So
workshop.
the best place to learn more about it is to come to one of those events.
The workshops.
Right.
And
That's what I was kind of teeing up for you guys.
Yeah.
For today's purposes.
We make sure we have those.
I knew you were up to something.
the
So-
workshops are,
20th, 19th.
just a minute. For more in-depth information, we invite you to join one of our upcoming in-person workshops, September 19th, 20th, or 21st. Please use the link that you see in the Zoom chat to register. So there is a link for that. And I did want to ask you guys a question about the workshops, because I think that's really important. And shall we go on?
I think at this point, unless you guys want more practice or anything specific, I think at this point we can do the outro.
Okay. And then, okay.
I do
But-
think when you put that on the screen though, about those workshops, you need to put the, like the date and the location.
Yeah, this right here, I just put that up, I typed that in.
Yeah.
For your benefit.
So you
Okay.
will have that as a graphic as when I mention it or when they mention it, that we can pull it up and show the dates and everything? Okay. Okay. Okay, you guys get the hang of it. How are you feeling about it? Can we call it quits after the outro?
How do you feel about it?
I feel it's
How
fine.
do you feel about the answers?
Oh, I
Any of
feel
them
the
too
answers are
long,
great.
or-
No, 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 no. No, they're great, and I love the way you play off each other. That's great. I think it's fine. I guess it matters what Mike thinks.
Which this is recorded, so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to the outro then. Okay.
What I say today may not be what I say tomorrow.
Well, me too.
You know what I mean?
It'll be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we,
Absolutely.
let me just ask, what's the call to action here?
The call to action is that if they want to learn more, they need to register for our events in Texas, September 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Yeah. So we need to be mentioning that during the 45 minutes. I think to just push them to
Yeah.
know what the call of action is.
But if somebody is in Boston or Portland, they may not want to go to Texas for this event. And they
I
may-
think you should give him Justin Newman's name if he's the guy, and say, we encourage you to do, but if prior to that,
we need to be really clear on what the call to action is here. We've gone to all this trouble to do this, and now we're passing the plate, right?
Yeah, I agree with totally that you're going to have a limited amount that come to the cities compared
Right.
to the amount you're showing this to, just
Right.
location by itself. To have a definite go-to email or go-to phone number.
We
I
want
mean-
them to go to the Legacy Plus website. On the Legacy Plus website, they can either register for the event or they can fill out a contact form to go to
Okay,
our.
there is a website?
That's-
so that's the answer.
Have you-
Okay. We.
There's,
So what is the
we
website?
learned something new.
I
It
did?
is-
Will you have it on the screen
It will be on the
underneath?
screen.
They'll do
Okay.
that in post.
Okay.
They'll put it up underneath, so we just have to assume that
Yeah.
they have access.
I didn't know there was one.
But
We'll
Did you know
mention
there
it.
but you should be able to speak to that though.
To contact us for more information.
Okay, and how do they contact us for more
Well,
information?
there's a form fill on that website.
I would think that would be.
Oh, okay.
I would think that would be
I'm
your closing,
interested
wouldn't
in
it?
what to learn
Yes,
about
it is.
Legacy Plus.
Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I just want to make sure that we do it more than just the closing.
Yeah.
Because I think people are going to want it, like if they have the website underneath or scrolling once in a while, or I don't know, do people do phone numbers, or would they rather have a?
We have phone numbers.
It might be new to the website, you're gonna miss nobody. If it's a phone,
Some people might chicken.
Do we need to ask Mike about this? Or ask, no, okay.
We'll have a graphic.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then I'm ready to go when you guys are.
All right, you guys ready to do the outro?
Yes.
Let's do the outro then. And that's gonna be the outro and the call to action. Go to the Legacy Plus website to register for our events in Texas, or contact us for more information.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I might just ask for some final thoughts from you guys. Just a final synopsis of your impression of how Legacy Plus has affected you and your business. Gary?
For my business, I believe in it enough that it's become our focus point. It would have been a secondary business for us until I saw the ability of what it could do for clients, and not to mention financially for our business at the same time. It's really one of those that I would do it because that's where our focus is today, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Thank you. You, Dan?
I agree with that. It really speaks to kind of the age group of people that I work with who are saying, what is the future going to look like? They reach a point where they are looking for significance and legacy, and they're also looking for answers to estate planning questions. How do I leave this behind? How do I generate maybe an alternate asset, like Gary said, tax-free income maybe in a certain aspect of my portfolio. And so they're asking us these questions, they're asking CPAs these questions, they're asking attorneys these questions. So from our practice, it is a fabulous answer to all the questions we're being asked by our clients. And so there really is, I think, a crisis in America for people to get answers to these questions and they don't know who to ask. So it's really helped us a lot, I think, talking to our, all of the various professionals we work with. We call them teaming partners, and our clients, our successful clients.
The clients, yeah.
How about you?
And Stan.
Yeah,
Stan?
Dan's really right about the audience that he's speaking to, but I want to say also, what's so amazing about the Legacy Plus strategy is that it's a really powerful solution that also works for young professionals as an alternative to funding retirement income. So what I really like about the strategy is that it's really powerful, it's low risk, and it applies in so many different scenarios, right? So it solves so many problems that I call it the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Because I can use it in so many different scenarios for older people who are motivated to save estate taxes or to fund the payment of estate taxes, but also for young professionals or business owners that want to have an asset protected retirement income 15 or 20 years from now.
And I mean, I've never seen an illustration on a healthy young person that you just go like, oh my gosh, it's incredible
Right, yeah.
what it can do to their estate. I mean, it's just amazing. And I don't believe I've ever had somebody I've talked with about Legacy Plus, when you explain it to them properly and you talk about how the pieces link together, that aren't all ears. Do they always do it? No, but they will always want to know about it because it is very intriguing. It's those key words of saving taxes, estate planning. You will get their attention. There's not one person that doesn't want to hear more about it. I'll just put it that way. I've never met a client or friend or family member that you talk to about it that aren't interested.
Gary Harris of Harris Financial Group, thank you so much for being here with us today. Dan Cunningham, we love having you here. Cornerstone Advisors, and of course we have Stan Miller, who is Pinnacle Legacy Law. I'll have it by tomorrow, okay? Pinnacle Legacy Law. At Cornerstone, we are committed to supporting you through the entire process, and so we want to make sure that you have all the information that you want to know. It's easy to get because you can find more on our website. You'll see the information there on your screen. And there's a form on there. If you'd like to fill it out, just do so, quick and easy, and we'll have somebody contact you. Most of all, thank you for being here with us and spending this time with us. Good day.
When you start anything, you do what everyone else is doing. You follow the path of those who've been successful before you. We did that, and it worked, for a while. We realized we can make our clients money, but there's gotta be more than that. What if it wasn't just about making the numbers look good, but we could really enjoy the people we served? That's what we wanted to build. The Cornerstone Financial Network was born. We weren't going to be just about the numbers. They were important, but they weren't everything. We were going to be the people our clients wanted to do business with. We were going to get results, help them realize their dreams, and enjoy the process along the way. We discovered we weren't just like everyone else, and if that meant we wouldn't be for everyone, we would accept that. We valued people over process, but we knew we'd win in the end if we held true to the Cornerstone promise. We would serve our clients in a way that prioritized their goals, and we'd lead them forward to the futures they always envisioned. Join us at Cornerstone, where our promise is to lead you forward. We are committed to the success of female financial advisors. There aren't enough female advisors, and they often make less than their male counterparts. We find it interesting that this is all while research reflects that women use financial advisors more than men and prefer to work with women more than men. We believe the industry needs to change. At Cornerstone, we intend to lead that change. We're offering an opportunity for women to experience unprecedented support, training, earning potential, flexibility, and a community of women just like you. Women who want to be successful in business and in relationships. And through the Together Financial Collective Initiative, Cornerstone also contributes a portion of all female advisor proceeds to charities, making a difference in the lives of women worldwide. Consider a career at Cornerstone, where we believe in becoming the change we hope to see.
How has your relationship and your partnership at Cornerstone benefited your practice?
We've seen our revenue literally quadruple in the last 3 or 4 years. And we were doing well before we started doing that, but this has added a whole new dimension that I never thought possible. And I've been in this, like I said, for four decades.
Legacy Plus is a strategy that takes two ideas that each are, I think, quite powerful in their own right, infuses them together in a way that makes them 10 times more powerful than either one would be standing alone.
You know, I've always felt like I was pretty knowledgeable. I've been a student on investing. I felt like I was pretty rounded on what I understood on how to invest, and I had somebody lay a piece of paper in front of me. I'm looking at this piece of paper and the numbers that they're saying we're doing. I'm just like, no way. I don't believe it. It's too good to be true. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. It's too good to be true. So I jumped in and started studying it. I started reading up on it, going through everything I possibly can. Came back and it's just like, okay, this is an amazing estate planning tool that people don't know about. And so I get excited talking about it just because I think it's something most people, I've yet to find somebody that's ever heard of it before. That's what's amazing to me. It's a great, great strategy.
You partnered with Cornerstone. I'd like to know what were the benefits of partnering with them?
The key word you said is partner. I think that is such an important word because a partner is somebody that's for you. And I tell you what, to have them in my corner, you always have questions that come up that maybe you don't quite understand. They will help you. If they don't know the answer, they'll help you get the right one. And I really consider them an expert. They get it. It needs to be done specifically for that client because every one of them are different. You have to really figure out what's best for them. And sometimes having somebody else to take it to and pass it through them and say, here's what I was thinking, and getting their feedback, that is partner. That's a partner. And that is what's incredible with the relationship that I've had with Cornerstone. They have been nothing but a blessing to be able to go to and work with.